Alex, we've got the 50 over one day World Cup just around the corner. What's key in a tournament like this, given that 2019 personally was a pretty good one for you, but for a team, what's important?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's probably a different kettle of fish over there in India, and playing against them first up, it's going to be very exciting, obviously, and to come up against them, I reckon, early in the tournament's good. It'll get the World Cup underway for us. It's obviously a tough component, tough opposition, and they all are. But to play India first up, I think, is a great way to start the tournament. But we got a few games leading up, so it's trying to get the group together. There's a few little niggles in the squad at the moment, and get them fit and firing, and then away we go on October 8th.
Is playing one-day cricket in India different to everywhere else in the world?
Or
is it pretty generic?
Cricket in India is different.
Yeah,
I think over there it's a cricket-loving country, and everyone will probably have their TVs on watching the cricket. There'll be people around the hotel. Grounds will be full. So it'll be very exciting to, like I said, start against them and really get into the vibe of the World Cup. But yeah, I think in terms of on the field as well, you don't know what you're going to get in terms of the wicket. You could get a one that is beautiful, comes onto the bat and it's high scoring, or it might be a little bit slower and spinny and a little bit more difficult to score. So in tournament play, you've got to keep your mind pretty open to what you're going to come up against.
2019, what did that do to you personally for your career? Because you had a great tournament, and obviously the whole tour went well from an Australian perspective, because that was part of the regeneration, made the semi-finals of the World Cup, retained the Ashes. What about for you?
Yeah, I went into that 2019 World Cup with probably only a dozen games under my belt, so still trying to, feel at home at that level. Not you probably ever do, but yeah, it was nice to start off well. I didn't get a hit in the first game, so you're sort of sitting around waiting for that opportunity. We beat Afghanistan and got the tournament off to a good start. And then we're under the pump a little bit in the second game against the West Indies, where we probably lost 4 wickets pretty early. And Smudge and I put on a nice partnership and were able to get over that line. So there's a bit of confidence early with the bat. And the way that group played throughout the tournament, we had Steve and Davey come back from their time off. By the end of the tournament, we had a few changes with injuries as well, and we managed to make it through to a semi-final against England at Edgbaston, which was a pretty tough ask. They're a good team. They obviously won it. So for me, I feel like now after 4 years, I'm pretty keen to win a World Cup. Playing against India at the World Test Championship early in the year was amazing. So it's nice to have that in the pocket. But yeah, one day World Cup would be lovely.
Virat Kohli. So say you got first game of this World Cup coming, now that you're established and everything like that. But when he gets going in India, is there a sound like it?
Nah, it's if he scores a single, it seems like he's hit a 6. If he scores a 6, it's like he's hit 100. He'd probably score 100 as well. Like,
what does that sound like?
No, you just can't hear anything. You're the wicketkeeper. You're meant to be all vocal and keeping the energy up, and you could scream as loud as you could. No one would hear you anyway. So, in a sense, it's nice everyone could just be quiet and run around rather than having to talk too much.
What about the threats to Australia, or your possible threats? It feels like a World Cup. It's who gets on a run, especially with this format that we're playing with this time. Whoever, it can be anyone, but anyone can get on a run and go all the way. Is that how you feel, or is there an established order going in?
No, you're spot on. I feel like any team could come in and win a game on their day, and again, you don't know what conditions you're going to be playing on and against. So, yeah, you obviously want to be playing your best cricket later in the tournament, but you want to be able to make it to the semi-final and really hit your straps there. So, yeah, I feel like we're pretty well positioned. Personally, I've been over there for 3 one-day series. We've been successful in two of those. We've got a really experienced group in playing a lot of IPL, playing a lot of cricket over there. We've started to get this group a number of games together, so the experience is really high. And I probably felt like in 2019 there were still guys with not a heap of games under their belt. So yeah, it's exciting. I feel like we're well positioned to go in and do well and be successful.
Yeah, hopefully so. It feels like, so open going in. So we'll see what happens. Then after that, you've got Pakistan coming here. You toured there recently. Pakistan feel like this international team which have all the ingredients, and if it all clicks, they could be unbeatable, but it doesn't click enough. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I didn't play in the last Test series against them. I obviously watched a lot of that, and I feel like their bowling group since then has, changed a bit. And you've got these young quicks who are really keen and raw and want to bowl fast, which will probably suit the Australian conditions. So yeah, definitely as a batting group, it's going to be exciting, and one where we'll have to be on our toes and ready to go. And as a batting group, Babar Azam's, I think, is one of the classiest batters in the world. And the way that we, had to combat them in their own conditions, it was pretty tough work. So hopefully, with a bit more bounce and carry in our wickets, we can, find it a bit easier to dismiss them. But
what did Nathan say about that first one over there? He said that was the most pointless test I've ever played, or something like that, wasn't it? It was like, because it was a complete road.
I don't think he got wickets. That's why
the wicket did nothing.
No, that's it. So yeah, we I think taking them on here, I feel like our bowlers can do a good job, obviously. But yeah, they've been out here recently, so they know what the conditions are, and they'll be well prepared.
How have you gone with your ability to walk around pools without falling in since that tour?
Much better.
Take us through that, mate. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm one of those guys to make little mistakes like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did, and
it was a beauty.
Yeah, since then, I think I've batted a bit better since. But don't know what happened. And then of course someone was filming it, and the bag of green was in the bag and all that sort of stuff. But the phone survived.
Oh, the phone survived?
Yeah, it survived, yeah.
What, you put it in rice straight away or something?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
What got ruined? The bag of green was worse off for it?
Everything was all right. It was just pretty wet. So
yeah,
put it straight in the sun in Pakistan, and it dried nice and quickly.
Apart from us with a microphone, who reminds you of it most?
A lot of their fans, actually.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they love it. Yeah, I ended up having signs in the crowd when I was over there. So, I don't know, I might have to do that again soon.
Okay, fair enough. Now, obviously, how long you been back in? How long after Ashes before travelling to South Africa was there? It was about 4 weeks or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a short little
Not
window.
Even a month.
I think it was just under a month. But yeah, it was nice to be home for sure. And I think feet up, reflect on the Ashes, and away we go again to South Africa.
If you got $5 for everyone when you were home to ask you about the Bairstow stumping, how much money would you have in your bank right now?
Heaps. I don't know. It's just one of those ones where, it's turned me into, I guess, it's definitely got my face more recognised, and it was nice to get out of England in one piece. But yeah, since being home, I've had probably a different response to a lot of,
yes, I bet.
Our fans have been amazing. So yeah.
Well, you're not getting accused of
that's it.
skimping on haircuts and things like that as well. So
paid for this one. Yeah.
No, because you mentioned you'd do it again, obviously. But what about in other situations in life if people are premature about their decision to move, such as, do you have a problem with people standing up before the airplane docks at the airport? Do you have an issue with that?
No, I don't. No.
Okay. What about people who open their Christmas presents early?
Oh, they shouldn't do it, but as a kid, you probably sneak a couple in, don't you?
You're not going to hold them to account, though, are you?
I'll tell my kids off if they do it.
What about the one that really gets me, especially if you're driving? So someone presses the pedestrian light, and then they cross before it turns green, and then you're stuck there in the car. You got an issue with that?
You shouldn't cross before the green man.
Exactly. Bairstow would. What
Thanks,
about
boys? Appreciate this.
Someone? So I'm just trying to put a different slant on.
Nah, that's it.
You've got your stock standard answer that everyone asks about. Oh, tell us about the stumping.
Nah,
I'm just
I
trying
love it. I love
What about someone discussing a TV show or a movie spoiler?
Can't
before
ruin the
allowing
ending.
people?
Can't be doing that.
Can't do it.
Nah.
Have you seen Barbie?
No, I haven't.
Oppenheimer?
No, I haven't. I've got to watch that one.
I can tell you what happens in the end of that movie, but yeah.
Yeah, don't do it. It's against the spirit.
It's a bit like Titanic. It doesn't end well. Now, back to your keeping, though. Brad Haddin, big part of Willow Talk, has been so impressed with the way that your keeping has developed, especially over the last 12 months at international level. Have you felt that, or do you think that it's more people now just noticing that you're doing the right things?
Oh no, I think you maybe take a little bit to pick up little things with the bowling attack, and spending more time with Nathan's been great. And I did a lot of work with Brad over in the 2019 World Cup and developed that relationship with him, and probably got a lot in similar in the way that we try to prepare and tick off the basics and try to do that little bit of extra work as well. So I really enjoyed working with Hads over there and learn a lot. But I think for me it's one of those ones you're going to be in form and out of form at times with bat and gloves. But the last 12 months have been really enjoyable. We had a pretty tough tour to India, but I loved that challenge. I felt like with our bowling attack there was something happening every ball, and really embraced and loved that tour. And then England, there's a lot of talk around the ball that might wobble after. So I feel like my preparation's been good. That was good for India. It was good for England, and was able to have some pretty solid performances. I mean,
there's a standout for your most famous dismissal of the Ashes tour, but what for you was your favourite, your best? You thought, wow, that's me at my top shelf. Not that you'd go and say that because you're too humble.
No,
but
I was pretty pretty happy with the way I moved to Joe Root, ran down the wicket the second innings of the first test, and Nathan spun it between bat and pad, and it was down the leg side. So that was nice to move well and catch that. I think any time you get a stumping, it's quite enjoyable.
However you get it.
Standing
Sorry,
back's even better. And then we got Crawley, Gaz and I down leg side, stumped as well, which was nice. So I think that just reinforces that you're moving, you're watching the ball, and you're reacting to what you see.
What was the one again that you took? It was like you're back playing for GWS.
That one's probably a bit more of a tactical play, and I knew the plan that we were going after, and it was short and bowling bumpers. And for that one ball, I just felt like if I was down the leg side, it gives me a better chance if there was something to come my way, rather than moving from the offside to the leg side and hoping you catch up. I set up down the leg side, and Joshy Hazelwood bowled the perfect bouncer to Ben Duckett, who was batting really well. Just got enough bat on it, and I was able to jump up and take it in the right mitt. So I felt like that in terms of the tactical awareness was a nice one.
What about from a keeping perspective, that something that you could pass on to listeners, whether it be a boy or girl who's just taking up wicket keeping, or a keg on legs who's playing his 37th Saturday Arvo year? What's key?
I think for me, in those sort of last 12 months as well, I've probably found what is natural for me and what my best position is. And you get a lot of coaching advice and help throughout your juniors and as you get older. And a lot of past players will definitely offer advice, and which is fantastic. But I think we all do it a little bit differently. Our body types are different. We move differently. So, I felt like that, last 12 months I've got my stance quite natural again. Getting in strong positions to move and dive around rather than trying to, be a little bit too mechanical.
So it's that split second where your position when ball is about to hit bat.
Yeah, I think in a natural position to move the best way you can.
Yep.
Naturally, and I did it as well. You grow up watching the likes of Gilchrist and Brad Haddin, and they're heroes, they're wicket keepers, and that's the way that you should do it. But we all do it a little bit differently. We're all different heights, different sizes, move a bit differently. So I think, for the kids and the girls and the boys out there, obviously get some advice and help, but whatever feels natural and comfortable, and however you can move the best you can, then do it your way.
Do you pass on general advice to the opposition batters like a Brad Haddin does with his sharp tongue?
I'm pretty quiet. Yeah.
Well, I take that as you're nice and he's a bastard.
Yeah,
You won't say that,
No,
but-
I would say he's a bit sharper than me behind the stump.
So you don't say much.
No, I don't think I've really ever needed to. Yeah, I mean, talking just Test cricket the last 2 years, our record's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I've played in 25 matches, and I reckon I've lost 5 of them.
Yeah.
So our record's pretty good. There's no
Just
need
like that for a
no
speak
need
for
for chirp,
itself.
is there?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, mate.
Nah, cheers. Thank
Cheers.
you.